Hi guys. You've probably wondered more than once how you could speed up your Windows and get more FPS in games. Today, your wait is over. In today's video, I'm going to show you a few things you can do to speed up your system and get more FPS in games. The first thing we're going to do is open our control panel. Go into the System and Security, Power Options, and we're going to stop here for a moment. As you can see, my power options may be a little different from yours as I'm currently using a Lenovo Legion laptop that has its own predefined power options. You should see Balanced, Power Saver and High Performance modes. So, of course, we choose High Performance. If you don't see such a plan, then, we enter Create a Power Plan and here we select High Performance. We can name it whatever we want. On the next page, we can choose when our display will be turned off and when our computer will go to sleep if we stop using it. The next thing we're going to do is change the refresh rate of our display, because now most monitors have a refresh rate greater than 60 Hz. So we open the Windows settings, type refresh in the search engine and we should see something like View Advanced Display Info. We click on it and select the highest refresh rate we have available. This setting will not give us more FPS, but our image will be smoother in games where we get higher amounts of FPS. The next thing we are going to do is disable unnecessary programs that start when we turn on the computer. So for this, we open the Task Manager, we go to Startup and here we can disable everything that we do not need, just by clicking the right mouse button and disable. After that, let's open Windows Defender and disable Core Isolation, which even Microsoft advises us to disable if we want better performance in games, and if we leave this option enabled, it can significantly lower our FPS in games. After that, let's type in our search bar Windows features and disable the Virtual Machine Platform and Windows Hypervisor Platform. Then we enter Task Scheduler. Expand Task Scheduler Library, Microsoft and look for Windows Defender. And now we need to change the time in which background scans are performed by Defender. To do this, we do left-click twice or right in Properties, then on the Conditions and here we change so that Defender performs these tasks when our computer is idle. We don't want to disable these tasks, we just change the conditions under which they will be performed because Windows Defender performs them regardless of what we do on the computer, whether we are playing games or browsing the internet, consuming a lot of our resources. We stay in the Task Scheduler all the time, only this time we look for Application Experience and disable all the tasks that are available there. These tasks are just telemetry that we don't need in our gaming system. Then we look for the Customer Experience Improvement Program and do the same thing, disable all tasks. Now we're opening up the services and we're looking for something like this called Connected User Experience and Telemetry Properties here, which we're disabling and stop it. The next thing we want to disable is sysmain, and here let's stop for a moment and tell you what it actually does. With this service enabled, Windows tries to predict which apps you'll want to use and preloads them. It makes sense if we use an HDD, but if we use an SSD and we have our operating system on it, sysmain does absolutely nothing, so we can safely disable it unless we have an HDD, in which case we leave it enabled. But I advise you to upgrade your hard drive to SSD in that case. Another thing that we can disable is Windows Search, unless we are going to use it, so then we leave it enabled. And what Windows Search does is that we want to disable it. It indexes files on our system, which also consumes our system resources, so we can navigate to them using our search option, rather than manually searching for them around the system. So if we're not going to use it, we can turn it off. The last thing we're going to be disabling here is Xbox services, which we don't need unless we're going to use them too. In fact, you can disable everything in the services that you don't intend to use and don't want it to run in the background, but only do it if you have some experience in it and know what you're doing. Now we open our NVIDIA control panel. Enter Manage 3D Settings and look for Shader Cache Size. And we have to disable it because we want to clear it, so we disable it. We click on Apply. We now press the key combination Windows plus R and type %localapdata% and look for the NVIDIA folder, enter it and delete all the contents of the DX cache and GL cache folders. If it shows you that some files cannot be deleted, don't worry about it. Now in our search bar we type in Disk Cleanup and select only DirectX Shader Cache and click OK. Now go back to the control panel and enable the shader cache size and set its size to 100 GB if you have that much free disk space. If not, set it to 10 GB. Next, we set the power management mode to prefer maximum performance so that our graphics card gets the highest performance while playing. In texture filtering quality we set to high performance. Don't worry, there is no visual difference in games after all. Apply the changes after changing these options. If you want to install NVIDIA drivers without any unnecessary things, you can use the NVIDIA Clean Install program. You can find the link in the description. Once downloaded, you can simply launch it. The program will show you the version of the driver you are currently using and the latest current version of the driver to download. If you want to make sure you're downloading the right driver, you can check it using the NVIDIA GeForce Experience. Keep in mind that if you have GeForce Experience, it always runs in the background and can lower your FPS in games, so if you don't use the Shadow Play feature to record your gameplay, you can remove it and it will give you a small FPS boost as well. If you want a video where I explain to you how to install drivers using NVIDIA Clean Install and what each option does, let me know in the comments. If you're using a laptop, you may not have access to as many options in the NVIDIA panel. In order to unlock them, you need to disable the integrated graphics card. You can do this using the software provided by the laptop manufacturer, in the NVIDIA control panel, in the BIOS, or by using Mux Switch on your laptop. If you are using a Lenovo laptop and have the Lenovo Vantage app, you can open it and simply disable the hybrid mode, and you can also change your power plans or click Functional key plus Q. Disabling hybrid mode will completely disable the integrated graphics card, and it can also give you an FPS boost, even if the games were already using a dedicated graphics card. Now you just need to reboot your computer. If you don't have any software, you can do it in the BIOS. To do it we have to enter Settings, Update and Security, Recovery, and under the Advanced options click Restart Now. After that, do what I do. When we are in the BIOS we need to find the Configuration tab and look for Graphics Device and change from Dynamic Graphics to Discrete Graphics. Keep in mind that each BIOS may look different depending on who the motherboard manufacturer is. You can also disable Windows Defender Core Isolation and change the speed of fans. After you change all these things, you can click on F10, which will save the changes and restart our system. When we are back in Windows, we need to take care of unnecessary notifications on our system and applications. So we go into Windows Settings again, search for apps and delete the ones we don't use, like Mail and Calendar, Feedback Center, Gaming Services unless we use Xbox app, and so on. Now we search for notifications and turn off the ones we don't want, or all of them. The second to last thing we will do is delete the temporary files. So we just enter temporary files in the Windows settings. Wait for Windows to read all the files and enter the temporary files. Select everything except the Downloads folder and click Remove Files. Notice it might take a while. The last thing we will do is turn off Xbox Game Bar and background recording. To do this, open Windows Settings, type Game, then disable Xbox Game Bar and background recording. You can also uninstall Xbox Game Bar if you want, and I think this will be the best option. Game Mode. This one is tricky, because some say it boosts FPS, some say it doesn't, and some say it lowers it a bit. I turn this option off. If you want, I can make a comparison with the game mode on and off. If you enjoyed my video, you can leave a subscription and a like. You can also leave a comment what Windows or gaming tips you'd like to see.